Are you wishing there was a little something more to your homeschool? Bored with your curriculum? Kids having a hard time staying motivated to get their schoolwork done? Maybe you're just burnt out, stuck in a rut, not sure what to do next? Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 20 different ideas of things that we have done at different times over the years to help spice things up a little bit. Hi, I'm Erin. I'm a homeschooling mom to 4 kids, ages 6 to 14. We are in the back end of our 9th year of homeschooling, and definitely in all of those years of homeschooling, we have had many times where I have just felt stuck in a rut, or we've got really bored with how things are going and have really needed to change things up to get back to some of that joy and love of learning. We are often only limited by our own fear of not following the norms and doing things the way that everybody else does them. Friends, it does not have to be that way. Homeschooling is so much more when we step outside of the box of that traditional school mindset and find new and exciting and engaging things for our kids to do and for us to come alongside them and do together. So don't put your homeschool in a little box. We need to keep in mind that not all homeschool days need to look the same. We can do different things at any point in time. We are the authors of our own homeschools. Even if your state requires a certain number of hours for you to homeschool or something like that, there are some things that you can do that are still educational, that can count as school days, but maybe aren't necessarily using the normal curriculum that you might do most of the rest of the year. Okay, so let's jump in. The first thing that we have done oftentimes throughout our years is to put our normal curriculum aside and do a unit study together as a family. Unit studies are a great way to incorporate all of your ages together, where you can do some group learning time, have something fun to do that's just different from your normal homeschool day, can really go a long ways in spicing things up. And in this area, it is really fun to involve your kids in the decision making about what you're actually going to be spending some time digging into. Campfire curriculums and Gather Around Homeschool have some great unit study options. I will link those in the description below if you want to purchase something like that. But you don't even have to have a curriculum in order to do something like this. Just choose a topic that you're interested in learning about, find some great books from the library, watch some videos, do some projects or activities together, and just spend time having fun together as a family. Okay, number 2 is to put the textbooks away and pick up some fun living books for you to cuddle up on the couch together and read together with your kids. Living books are so much more fun to learn from than a textbook. And if you're not familiar with living books, they are basically books that are written about a particular subject that are more narrative style versus a bunch of dry facts that your kids are bound to just forget. Living books make history or science or whatever you're learning about come to life because the way that is written is more engaging and interesting for everyone in the family. Everything that we do is in a living book format, and I highly recommend that if you haven't tried that approach before. Number 3 is to take school outside. Weather permitting, obviously. This time of year might be a little bit trickier, but tuck this one away for when the weather gets a little bit better. You can pack a picnic lunch or just some snacks, bring a picnic blanket. Even if you're just going out to your front yard, bring your books or your lessons, whatever you're working on, outside and do it outside in the fresh air. Soak up a little vitamin D and enjoy just learning in a different environment. That can often make things just a little bit more interesting. Number 4 is to skip the science curriculum and watch some nature documentaries, some science TV shows, something like that instead of reading for a change. There are some great options out there. Planet Earth is amazing if you want to do some nature kind of studies with your kids. We absolutely love Science Max. I think it's here on YouTube. I will link that below for you if it is, but it is a super fun science TV show that is created for kids. All of my kids have loved that, even up through middle school. They are really fun to watch, and my kids have learned so much just from watching these TV shows that I do not feel bad for 1 second for putting one of these shows on when I need a little bit of a break and allow someone else to teach science to my kids for a little while. Number 5 is to replace some of your language arts with journaling or maybe writing letters to grandparents. Maybe you want to make some cards and write a nice note in them and mail them to friends or family members. I mean, who doesn't love getting something in the mail like that? That is just so special, and it's a great way for your kids to practice how to format a letter, how to address an envelope, all of those kind of things. Number 6 is to enjoy some time incorporating some home ec lessons into your homeschool. Maybe you've got some great recipes that you've been wanting to try, or just teaching your kids some knife skills, how to cut things up and prepare things in the kitchen. Maybe you want to try baking some cookies and then take it up another level and deliver some of the treats that you make to a neighbor or a family member or just someone that you know could use a little pick-me-up. Number 7 is to go on a field trip to a historic site nearby, or maybe a museum if you don't have something like that near you. This is a great hands-on way to engage with the history of the community that you live in. We got to go on an impromptu field trip to a history museum in our area just last week, and let me tell you, it was so much fun. It was great to get out of the house, do something different, and learn about our area in a fun and unique hands-on way. Number 8 is to attend a local recital for dance or music or go to a concert. It is a great way to incorporate the joy and beauty of watching some performance arts. You never know what might spark some interest in your kids that they want to pursue for themselves. Which ties into number 9. If your kids do play a musical instrument, or maybe they enjoy singing or dancing or something like that, maybe you put on a little recital of your own. You could invite the neighbors or some family members, or even just do it via FaceTime for family members that maybe live out of town. As homeschool families, a lot of times we don't have that opportunity to get up and practice public speaking or something like that. So doing something like this, even on a small level, is a great opportunity for your kids to practice and prepare for performing in front of others, even if it's just on a very small scale. Number 10 is to organize a tour of somewhere you've been curious about. Maybe there's a fish hatchery in the area, or a farm you can go visit, or an orchard, or a solar farm, or something that is local to where you live that would be easy to go see and have a tour of a facility or something like that for your kids to learn about in person. It's amazing how much our kids can retain when they get to go visit something and see it actually happening versus just reading about it in a book. And if you can, bring some friends with you. These are fantastic opportunities to involve others with you and do something fun together. And a lot of times you can get a group rate if you have enough kids and families together with you. Number 11 is to have a full day of arts and crafts. Some of you are cringing, but that might mean that this is for you, because if you are hesitant normally to incorporate a lot of arts and crafts in your home because you don't want to deal with the mess, this is what you can do. Get yourself a messy mat, which is just a vinyl tablecloth. Makes it so easy to protect your furniture and easy to clean up because you can just take it outside and shake it off. Plan a day where you can just have the whole day with no agenda other than creating some art. You can watch some videos on Art for Kids Hub, or maybe find some ideas on Pinterest that goes along with the season that you're in. Make some cards, paint some pictures, draw some comics. Whatever your kids enjoy doing. And then the beauty of it is they will get an amazing art fix. They'll get all of that out of their system for a while, and you only have to clean up once. Number 12 is to put a pause on your math curriculum and instead bust out some educational games that incorporate math. There are a lot of apps that your kids could do. There are a lot of fun board games like Monopoly, where your kids are having to calculate rent and add up the money, have them be the banker, have them be the banker. and you just help them along with that. There are so many different fun educational games out there, and sometimes that can be the best way to make learning exciting again and see how it can be involved in real life. Because a lot of times our kids get bored and thinking that they are never going to use what they are learning. But if you can find a fun game or activity that actually involves those things, then it can help them to see the value in what they're doing and maybe be a little bit more interested in learning and growing more so they can get better at that thing. Number 13 is to do a poetry tea time. If you don't like poetry, don't tune out on me. It doesn't have to be poetry, but that's kind of a thing that's well known in the homeschool world. This is where you want to just decorate your table fancy. Put a tablecloth out, maybe a centerpiece, get the nice cups out for tea or cocoa, milk, whatever your kids like to drink. Have some snacks and treats available. Maybe you put on some gentle classical music in the background, make it feel a little fancy. And then read together. You can read poetry. You can just read a chapter book that you've been going through, maybe some fun picture books. A lot of times, even if our kids are older, they will still enjoy those picture books. So don't write off picture books, even if you only have older kids. But doing something like this is a really fun way to just engage with written, beautiful stories and poetry as a family. Number 14 is to practice creative storytelling. This is a really fun one to do with kids of any age. Instead of doing a normal language arts lesson, just make up some stories together. This is something that my husband actually incorporated with our kids when they were really, really little. When he would put them to bed at night, he would make up this grand, amazing story, and then he would have each of the kids make up their own story. So by modeling after him, they were learning to involve more descriptive and exciting language and learn how to develop plot twists and that kind of stuff, even when they were really little. And we even recorded voice memos of them doing that. And oh my goodness, it's the sweetest thing to play those back and listen to their cute little squeaky voices telling these really fun stories from when they were little. And they still do that today. Another idea with this is to do a fun progressive story. One person starts the story and says a couple of sentences, and then it goes around in a circle, and they just keep adding onto the story until you get to a fun ending for your story. You can do this orally out loud and laugh and enjoy it together, or have everyone write the first sentence on a piece of paper and then pass it around, and you keep adding, and then you end up with multiple stories. Either way is really fun to do as a family and just kind of see where kids take the stories. You'd never know what's going to happen, but I guarantee it will be fun. And number 15 is to go to a library or a used bookstore, maybe even a new bookstore if you want to, but find some new books to either check out or to purchase and add to your collection. Maybe you swing by a playground or park somewhere, grab a treat or a coffee for yourself and a treat for your kids, and just enjoy reading those books outside at the park together. Can you tell we like to snack a lot? Incorporating food and snacks and treats into your homeschool is a surefire way to get a little bit more joy into the lesson time. Number 16 is to plan a party or a little gathering with some of your homeschool friends and do some kind of group lesson together. When our kids were a little bit younger, I had friends and we would gather together once a month or so, and it would be centered around whatever the holiday was that might have been that particular month, and we would do some kind of history lesson about that particular holiday. We would have some craft projects that we would do. We would have some snacks that were related to that holiday and just enjoy learning and growing together, and then have some free play time as well. It was great for me as a mom as well to have some of that time to fellowship with some other homeschool moms. Number 17 is to watch a film adaptation of a book that you've read together. There are so many books that have been made into movies. If there isn't one that you've read together yet, plan ahead now to find one of those books, read it together, and then watch the movie when you're done, even if it's during the day. Make some popcorn, have some treats, involve both parents if you can, and watch the film and enjoy it together. And then if you want to take it up a notch educationally, you can discuss then with your kids the differences between the book and the movie and which one you preferred. all of those kind of things. Number 18 is to go on a hike or a nature walk. You can bring along a local animal or plant guide or do some kind of nature scavenger hunt and have your kids look for different types of leaves or pine cones or flowers or whatever it is you want to include in that. Collect some of those things and bring them home with you to either display somewhere in your home or maybe incorporate a little bit of nature journaling and have them sketch some of those things that they collected. This is a great way to get out in nature and learn to be observant of the area around you. Number 19 is to organize a group, either just some friends that you may have that homeschool, or if you're part of a co-op, organize a track and field day for your kids. I know one of the highlights of my year growing up in public school was track and field day at the end of the year, getting to participate in some of those races and events and having the chance to win a little ribbon for prizes of doing well in those events. You can find inexpensive ribbons on Oriental Trading or other places like that. This is such a fun way to kind of tie a bow at the end of the homeschool year, and you have time now, if you start thinking about it now, to plan something like that out for the end of this homeschool year. Number 20 is to just be creative. Give your family the chance to learn and explore and go down rabbit trails and find things that excite them and light them up, and allow them the time to do that and call it school. True education does not have to come from a textbook, and being willing to step outside of the box is so worth it. You will never regret that decision. If you find yourself struggling with that traditional school mindset and you need some help to incorporate a little bit more peace and find a little bit more joy in your homeschool day, make sure you check out this video up here. I hope this video inspired you to break outside of that box, try something different, and bring that spark back into your homeschool. Let me know what you would add to the list, or if there were any of these ideas that I put in here that you are gonna try out. Drop that in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.